Here with Coach Justin Young after the final score of Columbia 79, CMU 64. Your team competed and hustled tonight, trying to stick with it. You certainly tried to push the pace at times and had some success. Nautica Washington, 18 points. Taylor Robinson, 11. You started to knock down the three ball late. Overall, what were your thoughts on the game tonight?
It's just, I thought offensively, we played in in transition where we want to play. We are at our best when we are playing in transition. We're playing fast. We're not slowing the ball down. And so I thought we did a really good job of that. I mean, we shot 74 times. They shot 75. We had 11 turnovers. They had 18 turnovers. It just came down to they can freaking shoot the ball. They can shoot. There's no doubt about it. I just thought we got lost a little bit defensively at times, or we had some bad closeouts. And I think they ended up with 15 second chance points, and so that's better than what we've given up, and so we're getting better in that aspect. But again, this is a young team, a lot of new faces. We're getting better every single day. Much better performance than what we had against Cumberland last. And so it's just continuing to put the pieces together, continue to lock into our attention to detail, and move on to the next game.
Yeah, and we knew that the size would certainly be a factor. Columbia is a very big team, 1 through 5, and that's hard to face. But I felt like your team really competed in that aspect and was still courageous and played without fear and attacked the basket. That's something to be happy about. And Mary Copeland certainly put together a really nice effort. Her and Packy inside trying to compete with some of the best forwards in this entire country.
Yeah, we got to get a little bit more out of our boss spot, which is what we call our forwards. And from a rebounding standpoint, from a point standpoint, but a lot of that too is we have one returner that played a little bit of minutes last year. We have a brand new two transfer forwards in those spots, and so they're still learning. They're still getting used to what we do, and but yeah, onward and all to say.
Yeah, as you say, onward. The schedule it's a little bit easier. You don't have to play a conference champion, but obviously it's night in, night out. It's going to be a competition. What are you looking to see out of your team just in this home stretch?
Yeah, just to continue to improve on the details that we want to do. When tonight offensively, when we played to the actions that we wanted to play to, we got shots. We got great shots. Now it just comes down to getting the confidence up there to make them. I thought we got all wide open shots. We got a lot of gold and silver shots, what we call in our offense. Gold are layups and free throws. Silver are catch and shoot threes, and we got a bunch of those. And so now it just comes down to putting the ball in the hole, and get some stops defensively. But, yeah, we got Crowley's Ridge on Monday, an opponent that plays a lot of zone. So we kind of got to shift our gears offensively to zone offense for our next two practices. And get ready for the gauntlet of the Heart of America. And it doesn't get easy because we open up with Mid-American Nazarene in game number 1.
Coach Young, thank you so much. We got the men's game coming up in just a few minutes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome into Puckett Fieldhouse in Fayette for what should be a fun night of basketball. The home opener for the Eagles on the campus of Central Methodist as they host the Cougars of Columbia. Crosstown rivals do battle once again. I'm Aaron Mosier with Dave Fox. The Eagles have started the year 3-1 under fifth-year head coach Matt Sherman. Columbia has started off 3-0 under seventh-year head coach Thomas Brock. Two programs that have had a lot of success, especially this decade. We've had very competitive games the last few years. Columbia leads the all-time series 34-20, but they have been just 1-3 against the Eagles over the last 4 meetings, and they have not won in Fayette since 2019. The Eagles coming off of some neutral site games in Bellevue, Nebraska, 2 wins to start the year over Hastings and Haskell before they fell to a really good Bethel team by 5, 76-71 in Kansas, in the Kansas Wesleyan Classic. They lost in that game to Bethel because Yakubu had 25 points. He was 12 of 15 from the free throw line, and that was a team that made the national tournament last year. So a competitive loss. Certainly some lessons to take from that one. They bounced back last Saturday with the win over Kansas Wesleyan, 82-70. Isaiah Reams had 29 points. Raphael Gay with 25. Columbia, 2 cupcakes to start the year, but a big-time win against a top 25 opponent, number 23, Graceland, on Saturday, 93-66. They led 47-23 at the half. Outshot the Jackets 52% to 29. And they out-rebounded them by 12, 5 in double figures. A very different looking team each way, and very excited tonight to see how this matchup progresses.
Aaron, it's great to be here. A great season. What a great night to kick off the home schedule for the Central Methodist Eagles. And again, you talked about somebody just 25 miles down the road in Columbia College. 2 great coaching staffs, 2 teams with a lot of tremendous history and tradition. Thing I'm really interested, a lot of new faces, as you just mentioned. Great opportunity to see what both these teams have, how they gel, and I think we're in for a very competitive basketball game.
CMU picked 4th in the Hart preseason. They'll get their conference schedule on track next week on the 15th, hosting Mid-America Nazarene. Columbia picked 1st in the AMC preseason poll. No real surprise there. However, last season they did not fare well against the other 2 AMC leaders, Central Baptist and William Woods. They were 0-5 against them last year. So this is an opportunity after a top 25 win against Graceland to avoid a letdown. Gary Linhart on PA will take us through the starting lineups here on the Hart Conference Network.
We ask that all players, coaches, and spectators abide by the NAIA, champions of character values, which are respect, integrity, responsibility, servant leadership, and sportsmanship. And now let's meet the starters for tonight's contest. First, for the visiting team on the scoreboard, the Columbia College Cougars. At guard, 5'8" junior from St. Louis, Missouri, number 5, A.J. Walker. At guard, a 6'2" senior from St. Louis, Missouri, number 12, Caleb Jones. At guard, a 6'4" junior from St. Louis, Missouri, number 15, Adam Saucel. At forward, a 6'5" senior from St. Louis, Missouri, number 21, Jamal Goins. And forward, a 6'4" junior from Blackville, Arkansas, number 32, John Anderson. Cougars led by head coach Thomas Brock. He's assisted by Kyle Bay and Matt Woodcock. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to introduce tonight's starters for your Central Methodist Eagles. At guard, a 6'4" senior from East St. Louis, Illinois, number 1, Tommy Williams. At guard, a 6' senior from Mexico, Missouri, number 2, Isaiah Reed. At forward, a 6'7" senior from Paris, France, number 5,
Gary Linhart doing a fantastic job as always. Columbia, all Navy Road uniforms. CMU in their home whites. And the home opener in Puckett Fieldhouse. We'll be talking about all these new players as the night progresses. Very different starting lineups for both sides, especially for Columbia, graduating all 5 of their starters and their 6 leading scorers, including their program all-time leading scorer, Colin Parker. And we'll see the adjustments that the Cougars make. Jamal Guns and Austin Prater ready to tap it off at midcourt. And we are underway in Fayette. A beautiful Thursday night. Art Conference versus the AMC. Austin Prater feeds it inside. Raphael Gay muscles his way to the left hand and finishes over Goins.
Nice opening set that time by Central Methodist. Got Gay. Nice move in the paint that time. Little left-handed finger roll for 2.
Gay, the leading scorer for CMU, 19.5 points per game through the first 4. A.J. Walker moves it back out to Cassell, gets it back, swing to the corner. Anderson, baseline, and can't find Guns. And that's something to keep an eye on with such a new group playing a road game like this. The first road game of the year for the Cougars. Again, replacing all 5 starters from a year ago. CMU replacing a few of their own, like Brandon Chua, Destin Jenkins, and Bull Tong. New look, including Tommy Williams, who finishes through a little bump. He's averaging 11.5 points per game. He transferred from Arkansas Fort Smith. He previously spent a few years at Lindenwood. Anderson attacks Prater, left-hand hook, falls in off the glass.
Well, tough move. Boy, he really did a nice job using his body, shielding the defender at that time. Tough stuff.
Austin Prater, Kevin James, 2 of the main returners. Move the ball around, back to James in the corner. Bit too strong. CMU has struggled from beyond the arc in their last 2, just 8 of 36, 22% in their trip to Kansas. This is Walker, has the switch on Gay, and right now Reams was in trouble, but they're able to get the switch. And Goins now works against James. A couple of jab steps. James with great hands, and with 3 on the shot clock, they get it back out to Walker, and it rims out. And the rebound hustled for, but Cassell can't collect it. He's down the floor. Gay the other way to James. Back to Gay. He turns through the contact, draws the whistle.
Well, some hustle play down here by both teams, actually, Aaron. Central Methodist comes back quickly down the floor. Good pitch ahead that time by Gay to Kevin James. Great presence of mind, right back to him. Earns the opportunity at the free throw line.
Raphael Gay from Paris. When he came to the U.S., he did not speak English. He had to learn it from his teammates, his coaches. Played at Southeastern Community College for a year, Clarendon, and then last season at Cal State LA, where he started 12 games, averaged 10 a contest. Comes up empty at the foul line. It remains a 4-2 ball game early on in Fayette. Walker, jab step, back out to Saucelle from deep. Bit too short, and Gay has the rebound. Isaiah Reams, the transfer from Truman State, moves it to Prater. Tommy Williams directs traffic as the Eagles look to run Matt Sherman's set. Williams off the screen, spins inside, can't find Gay. Walker the other way, out to Saucelle. Anderson in transition, hesitates and drives, a little scoop layup falls.
Anderson is left-handed. Aaron, that's 2 times in this early in this basketball game. He's really exploited the Eagles, kind of going for the fake. Another nice move by the guy in the paint, about 6'4".
And he earns another possession for the Cougars with a takeaway.
I was going to make comment. He's very physical as well. Got a good body. Both offensive moves have been strong moves right there. Just basically took the basketball away from the Eagles.
Davian Giddy into the game for CMU. Johnny Anderson, JUCO transfer from Shawnee CC, where he averaged 18 a game last year. From Blytheville, Arkansas. He hands it off. Caleb Jones stopped in his tracks. Jones faces up and then moves it up top to Jones. And the clock to shoot. Saucelle into Gones, loses control, 2 to shoot, gets it away, can't fall, and the rebound to Giddy. Matt Sherman's team, you always know he wants to play in transition. Giddy from the top of the key, can't knock it down. Great save and hustle by Gay, and Isaiah Reams is fouled. And that's exactly the change that Matt Sherman wants to see from this team's group. Last year's team had their ups and their downs, 15 and 14, 12 and 12 in Hart Conference play, but we knew their weaknesses were when they got into physical games, they often cowed. This year he expects a tougher, more physical team, and that starts in the forward position with Raphael Gay.
Yeah, not only that, we've seen it early in this game from a rebounding standpoint. You know, I agree with everything you said, and because of that, they had issues rebounding the basketball last year. Early on so far in this game, they've done a great job, especially on the defensive end.
Just over 4 minutes into this one, tied at 4 apiece. Raphael Gay through the contact, can't finish. A.J. Walker played at SLU H. He finds Justin Boyer up top from Father Tolton. Saucelle jump stop over James, finishes. And CC has their first lead. Williams out to Giddy. Reams hesitates, baseline, out to James, another from the corner, bit too strong. So CMU still looking to find their touch. They started off in Fuego this year, 45% from beyond the arc through their first 2 contests. But as we talked about, it's been a bit chillier the last 2. Rieger out to Gones with 7 on the shot clock. Rieger attacks, gets the left hand, can't finish over Gay. Goins has the follow. And if you bring that help side from Gay, somebody else has to fill in for the rebound. Williams, muscles, can't finish. So Columbia up 8-4. Physical contest to start. Boyer out to Rieger. The freshman was sensational against Graceland, and from the elbow, he can't drain it. He had 20 points, team high against Graceland in that top 25 upset by the Cougars. Reams is bumped, no whistle. Ball still loose. Williams gets it out to Reams. Bounce to Gay, and it rims out. Ice cold for CMU.
Boy, you said that right. That's been the difference in this game so far. 13:40 to remain. Columbia College has been able to finish, Aaron, with that 8-4 lead around the rim. Central Methodist, you mentioned, ice cold has just not finished. They're attacking. They're getting good shots. Just haven't been able to capitalize and put the ball in the basket.
13:46 remaining in the first half. As you mentioned, we have our first timeout with CC on top. 8-4.
He's for the 45, cuts across midfield, up the right sideline, stumbles, breaks the tackle. He's to the 20, to the 10. He is taking it into the end zone for a touchdown. Still caught down the line, and it's a line drive right down the line. Running catch by Jolly. He'll find Henry, turns, shoots, hits it from the corner. The fading 3.
Welcome you back on the Hart Conference Network to Fayette and Puckett Fieldhouse on the campus of Central Methodist. Aaron Mosier, Dave Fox with you on the Urban Edge Network as well this season. 8-4 early lead for Columbia. 13:46 remaining in the first half. Home opener for the Eagles' first road trip of the year for CC, but a short one at that. Crosstown rivals last year. CMU had the best of CC 77-68, and that was with a quick first half, 49-36 lead at the break. Bull Tong 27 points, 9 boards, and he was 6 of 9 from distance, and he propelled CMU over the top of Columbia. AJ Walker at the line, transfer from Mineral Area Community College, where he made 6 starts. Stands in at 5'8".
Aaron, I think both these coaches have to be pleased with their defense. 12 points collectively between both teams, 6.5 minutes played. From an offensive standpoint, pretty good ball movement. Of course, the game today with spacing, attacking, distributing the basketball has been pretty well. I mentioned before, one team's getting shots to fall, the other team has yet to do that.
Walker splits the pair, his first free throw miss of the season. He's now 11 of 12. 5-point lead for Columbia. Thomas Sewulu into the game for the Eagles. Reams comes off his pick, lost the ball, poked away, and collected by Jace Eskew. Rieger off the pick out to Boyer. He sets his feet, leaves it short. Kylan Smith is checked in as well for the Eagles as both sides get their rotational pieces in. Reams a couple of jabs, baseline, finds Sewulu, hot potato, he gets it back in traffic through the trees, he can't put it in.
Another good drive that time again. Central really struggling inside the paint.
Boyer steps into another, and this time it's nylon.
You know, he didn't hesitate on the last one. He missed that one, same thing. He got that ball, feet set, shot that with a lot of confidence.
James spins baseline and can't scoop it in. Sewulu jumped early. Loose ball collected by Rieger, and Sewulu runs over him. So, cold start for the Eagles. 2 of 10 from the fields. Columbia 5 of 11.
You know, if you're the Eagles, you got to keep playing, keep defending. Shots are going to fall eventually. Just got to keep this game close, continue defending, and try to keep Columbia College off the scoreboard.
Rieger out to Boyer for another. Leaves it strong, no box out. Boyer gets it back and fades, makes, and it's a 10-point advantage for Columbia. CMU this year 50% from the field, so certainly tonight start a far cry, especially when they shot 51% against the Coyotes of Kansas Wesleyan. And another miss, Isaiah Reams can't find the touch. Jones gives it to Phillips, who hands to Rieger. A good fake and back out to Phillips for 3, and swirls out.
Well, really good action that time by Rieger and Phillips. Little pick and pop, good look, just couldn't get it to fall.
Eagles looking to end a big scoring drought. James off the pick, out to the corner, and Smith leaves it strong. And almost 9 minutes of this one, the Eagles have been held to a pair of buckets.
Came in the first minute of the game, if I'm not mistaken, Aaron.
Boyer has another, and Columbia has taken full advantage of the slothful start for CMU. As they have found their touch, the Cougars have from distance, and they have made this a 13-point lead. Timeout on the floor. We'll keep it with you here on the Hart Conference Network. This Cougars team, again, replacing all 6 of their leading scorers: Kai Steinman, Harrison Vickers, Seth Larson, Carson Parker, even Bo Washer and Tommy Hafer, important role players for them. And then Colin Parker at the top, 4-time All-Conference, 2-time AMC Player of the Year. Doesn't seem like they're too phased, even by what was a bit of a slow start for them.
Well, let's talk about Columbia College. Saturday, they did a very similar thing to Graceland. We know Graceland has lost some players, got one of the best players back in the league, one of the top preseason Heart of America Conference teams. Very similar start Saturday against Graceland as they have tonight. Another observation, I think you'll agree, it's a physical game, it appears. Columbia College offensively is able to play through that physicality. Central's having some problems. They're getting some good shots around the paint. It's very physical, they're just not finishing.
Isaiah Bonaparte into the game for CMU. Williams on the attack, and finally, the almost 10-minute scoring drought is broken. And we have an 11-point ball game. SQ out to Boyer. The veteran drives, spins to the contact finish.
How valuable is it to have Boyer coming off the bench? What a start to this basketball game.
Almost stolen away by Jones, still loose. Boyer, what hustle. Almost saved it. That's important to remember, you know, with guys like Colin Parker, Carson Parker, the guys that stayed in the program for so long, that left some guys on the bench like Justin Boyer who just had a chance to wait his time, practice, and compete. And we're seeing that he is ready to go this year, regardless of his lack of playing time before.
It's his turn, and he's making the most of it tonight.
Smith, short. Giddy has the board. And an errant pass intended for Bonaparte. And that's over and back.
Coach Matt Sherman's kind of looking for 5 guys he can get on the floor to create some consistency. Obviously on the defensive end, but more importantly on the offensive end.
We have another timeout with under 10 left to play in the first half. 17-6, Columbia leads on the Hart Conference Network.
Welcome to the Heart of America Athletic Conference, where innovation meets tradition. Here, growth is not just measured in victories, but in the development of character and sportsmanship. Our student athletes compete at a championship level, pushing their limits every day. The Heart is committed to an uncommon student athlete experience that features some of the premier athletic programs in the NAIA. Our commitment to excellence goes beyond athletics, establishing a community of support and mentorship. But what truly sets us apart is the heart with which we play. Join us and experience the passion, the drive, and the spirit of champions. That passion and commitment extends off the playing field and into graduation. The Heart of America Athletic Conference, champions in competition, leaders in life.
.52 to play in this first half. Columbia 17, CMU 6. Home opener for the Eagles in Puckett Fieldhouse. Sluggish start for CMU. There's 3 of 14 from the field. Meanwhile, Columbia 8 of 16, 50%. Justin Boyer a game-high 10 points. And CC has the basketball. A.J. Walker to inbound, and he finds Max Rieger, freshman from Summit Christian Academy, where he was a baller, a stud there. Walker from straight away knocks it down, and the Cougars continue to be hot from beyond the arc.
Weapons from everywhere. Aaron talked about Boyer's start to the half. Anderson's had a couple nice buckets. Nice three-point shot that time. Good distribution of the points by the Cougars so far in this game.
Bonaparte in trouble. Kisses it in off the window. He redshirted last year. Matt Sherman mentioned he felt like he could have played. He's got that type of athleticism, but he is still growing into this physical game. Walker left it short. And a great hustle by Tommy Williams to get to the basketball. He draws the foul. Bonaparte from Hickman High School. Played under Cray Logan. His former teammate Langston Stroop sits on the other side. He also redshirted last year for Columbia. I imagine we'll see some of him. A lot of local flavor, at least in that department, in this crosstown matchup. Bonaparte kicks it out. Prater from deep. Rims out. And the Eagles still ice cold from distance. 0 of 6. Walker finds Saucelle, and he drains it.
A little lack of communication on the defensive end by the Eagles, Aaron. 2 people went to the man with the ball, left Rieger wide open, deep in the corner. Got to make sure you know where those shooters are at all times.
17-point deficit for the Eagles. Williams, up fake, got it to go.
We knew they'd start scoring eventually. Those shots are going to fall. Now it becomes the defensive end. Can they get stops?
Last year, that was a struggle for this team. Top tier in the Hart Conference offensively, middle of the pack defensively. Jones, or rather Gones, hands off to Anderson. Another scoop layup. This time it falls off the rim. Prater settles down the offense for CMU. They just try to find their footing in this ball game. Great find and a hot feed to Raphael Gay.
Good action there in the middle third of the basketball floor. It's just a simple pick and roll. Bonaparte's been a spark in this game so far for the Eagles. Couple nice passes, including that one right there.
Errant pass, past Anderson. Bonaparte kicks it out to Smith in rhythm, and it was blocked. Collected though by Williams, and that might have been partially blocked. And it's out of bounds off of CMU. I think you're going to be hard pressed to find a team more like the Hart Conference than Columbia, the way they play inside.
Well, now the inside, very well coached. Thomas Brock does a fantastic job. Game 3 into the season, offensive movement's been very good. I think even with the new team, their players feed off each other, know what their strengths are. Really haven't seen a bad shot attempt. Been very impressed with Columbia College early on in this game.
And the Cougars coming off of a top 25 win over Graceland at home, 93-66. Both teams last played on Saturday. First home contest for CMU, first road trip for Columbia. 8 to shoot. Rieger underneath, squeezes it through, and Goins is fouled. I don't know how he got that ball through all those outstretched arms.
What a pass.
Goins to the line, 12 of 13 from the stripe this year. Transferred from Christian Brothers University out of Memphis. He was at St. Louis CC for a year. That was after a great career at De Smet. Didn't have much of a role at CBU though, just 13 minutes a game. He leaves the free throws short. He comes up empty at the stripe. Can the Eagles start to cut into this hefty deficit? Down by 13 with 6:20 to play in the half. Prater hands it off. Bonaparte recollects into traffic, batted around, and a floater left short by Reeves. Columbia does not have numbers. Don't tell that to Caleb Jones. He leaves it short.
May have been the first bad shot we've seen Columbia College take in this entire basketball game.
Prater steps into a three, and that's well short. He struggled in their trip to Kansas. He's been their best rebounder, but shooting just 20% from distance. And though CMU wants to play with space, with pace and space, sometimes they get in trouble when they settle.
Well, they're playing rushed. They're playing in hurry. again, new team, early in the season, new teammates. Really let the game come to them. Again, they're getting decent shots for the most part. Sometimes it's good to get the ball from one side to the other and make the defense work a little bit. I think Columbia College has done a nice job of that so far in this game.
What do we got? And it's off of CMU. Off of Tommy Williams. Walker into traffic, hangs and finishes a fearless guard. $15-point deficit for CMU on their home floor. Williams out to Reams, who can step up for the Eagles. Bonaparte down low. Gay through the contact, blocked. Johnny Anderson with the rebound, but it was Marcellus Phillips who met Gay at the apex. Saucelle from the corner, can't knock it down. Gay the rebound. Bonaparte out to Williams. He left it strong, so the drought from distance continues for the Eagles. Rieger. Call a foul on Williams. As
Aaron, with 4:45 remaining here in the first half, see some subs coming in. Central looks a little tired. Got a timeout, I believe. Probably comes at a good time for these Central Methodist Eagles.
Under 5 minutes to play in the half. The Eagles shooting just 25% from the field. Columbia 48 with 4 threes. They're outpacing CMU right now with a 15-point lead. We'll step aside on the Hart Conference Network. We're back in Puckett Fieldhouse. 4:45 to play in the first half. CMU trails Columbia 27-12. A sluggish, slow start for the Eagles offensively. 25% from the field and 0 of 9 from distance. Columbia with 48% from the field, 4 of 11 from downtown. Justin Boyer still your game high scorer with 10 off the bench. And Max Rieger at the stripe for Columbia. Mentioned he's from Kansas City and Summit Christian Academy, where throughout his career there, he averaged 18 a game and shot 36% from distance. Last year, 21.5 points per contest. He knocks down both free throws to make it a 29-12 ball game. That brings Caleb Jones back into the game, replacing Rieger.
Aaron, it's not easy for a true freshman at any level, including this one, to contribute like Rieger has. Special player.
CMU 0 of 10 from distance, a lid tightly sealed on that end.
How many free throws have Central shot?
Just 2.
Just 2. Columbia College. Yep, Columbia College with only 3 team fouls.
Walker. Phillips swings it. Anderson drives, shoulders. Back out to Phillips. 9 to shoot. Spins off of Getty inside, and that was a beautiful move.
Again, it's how Columbia College has played tonight. Isolation, get the ball from side to side, get the matchup they want, and attack. And I agree, what a great move and finish that time.
Bonaparte. Nice crossover, but it was batted and right into the hands of Jones. Euro step against James, and that's a tough finish. Columbia retakes all the momentum, and they lead by 21. Their defense having all that they want. James out to Bonaparte. Back out. Everybody is there. Swarming defense. And Columbia has all the energy. 5 to shoot. Can Bonaparte get anything off? Fading away, and he somehow knocks it down. I mean, that was a perfect defensive possession from Columbia, but a better heave at the last second.
And all Coach Thomas Brock could do was clap and smile after that defensive possession. Will that shot get Central going? You never know. Again, Bonaparte with some really solid minutes early on in this game, Aaron.
Get the switch. Anderson moves it, though. 5 to shoot for Phillips. Splits through and finds Anderson. Who misses off target. Tough rebound by Gay. Wrestling with Caleb Jones. And the possession arrow favors Columbia. This is a scrappy Columbia unit. You expect that under Thomas Brock.
Well, I've been impressed with their overall defensive performance so far in this game. They're physical, not really tall. What, Boyer at 6'7", maybe the tallest player they have on their roster. But boy, they are physical, athletic, and aggressive.
They were 5th in the nation in rebounding margin last year, +5. That's off target for Walker. 2:20 to play in the half. Rieger back in, fires it to Boyer. Back to Rieger, in rhythm, got it.
Weapons, multiple. You got a team in blue playing with tremendous amount of confidence right now, and a team in white that's trying to find their confidence.
Look at Rieger. I mean, practically James is wearing him like a hoodie. This is a Columbia team that has all the energy they want.
This is what the Heart's going to be like, right? I mean, this is very competitive, as you mentioned. What, the Heart starts next week? Heart of America Conference, correct? Conference play starts here in a week or so.
Correct myself from earlier, it was +9.5 rebounding margin last year. And one thing to consider about this game, you know, both sides, their strength of schedule last year was not in a great spot, and that's part of what kept Columbia out of the national tournament. Their strength of schedule was 195th. The AMC did not provide much competition outside of Central Baptist and William Woods, and now the Owls no longer in the AMC. So this is an important game for Columbia in the non-conference to try to boost their resume as much as they can, especially coming off of beating another Hart team, a top 25 team in Graceland.
Good points. Yep.
So a 21-point lead for Columbia, 17 on the shot clock for CMU. James kicks it back out to Bonaparte. 5 on the timer. Lost control, and A.J. Walker has a loose ball. Caleb Jones turns the corner, but can't finish, in a late whistle. Just feels like the Cougars are a battering ram. And they just, once they hit the half-court line and cross the timeline, it's hard to stop.
Well, they attacked the basket so well, and, you know, through their movement offensively. Central Methodist is getting out of position. They're getting beat one-on-one to the basket. If you flip it to the other end, Central's trying to do the same thing. They've had some success, but Columbia College has done a great job. They're very physical. They're staying in front of Central Methodist, as well as they've done a great job rotating.
Caleb Jones at the stripe, 17 points a contest, 60% at the stripe. Played for the vaunted Vashon High School program. Played a few years of JUCO ball at Kansas City Community College, where he started 71 games, 11 points a contest. Played last year at Catawba. Columbia's leaving some points at the line. Jones, a 6'2 senior, splits the pair. A 22-point lead for Columbia on the road. Isaiah Reams has been held in check all night long, but a great feed to Raphael Gay from Bonaparte.
It's a good find, nice penetration, defense rotated up, excellent pass.
Walker with pace out to Boyer. With 60 seconds remaining in the half. Post up inside, Goins left it far long. And a whistle on the rebound on Jones. This is a big possession for CMU. 54 seconds remaining in the half. You've picked up a stop. You just had a bucket before. A nice sequence to go into the locker room would give you something to take.
I totally agree.
Something for Matt Sherman to chew on.
Yeah, and let's see if they run a set, try to get an isolation, and run something in particular for a certain player.
Rieger all over Reams, and that forces a turnover. Sensational stuff. Walker lost it in the hands of Saucelle. Goins into traffic, up and under, lays it up and in. I mean, Max Rieger made that sequence go. He has shut down the opposing guard in front of him.
He's been very impressive, to say the least.
James, 11 to shoot. Shot clock turned off, gets a little help from the rim. Now 5 on the clock for Columbia. Walker fires it ahead. Saucelle fouled before the end of the half. Going back to Rieger, it's not too often that Columbia has a true freshman having major minutes. It just doesn't happen. I mean, you look at a guy like Saucelle, Boyer, guys that have had to wait their turn in this program, and Rieger has stepped in and looked like a veteran tonight.
Not only this game, this program, obviously you'll see some 5-star freshmen playing, but you just don't see it very often at any level.
His pedigree certainly sets him up well.
Well, you can tell that kid's a winner, too. He's had a lot of success.
And that ends the first half. Columbia comes out with a haymaker, a 43-19 lead, 24-point advantage, and a balanced scoring effort again for this team against a Heart of America Conference opponent. Boyer with 10, that's the high for Como. Autumn Saucelle with 8, A.J. Walker with 6, Max Rieger with 5, Williams and Gay with 6 for CMU. But it has been tough sledding, just 33% from the field, 1 of 10 from distance. Meanwhile, Columbia has shot 48% themselves, and CMU has 7 turnovers. They've been out-rebounded by 4. They'll need a big-time effort quickly out of the halftime break, as Matt Sherman has a lot to go over with his group. Columbia comes out strong, on top by 24. We'll step aside on the Hart Conference Network.
Welcome to the Heart of America Athletic Conference, where innovation meets tradition. Here, growth is not just measured in victories, but in the development of character and sportsmanship. Our student athletes compete at a championship level, pushing their limits every day. The Heart is committed to an uncommon student-athlete experience that features some of the premier athletic programs in the NAIA. Our commitment to excellence goes beyond athletics, establishing a community of support and mentorship. But what truly sets us apart is the heart with which we play. Join us and experience the passion, the drive, and the spirit of champions. That passion and commitment extends off the playing field and into graduation. The Heart of America Athletic Conference, champions in competition, leaders in life. For the 45, cuts across midfield, up the right sideline, stumbles, breaks the tackle, he's to the 20, to the 10, he is taking it into the end zone for a touchdown. field, caught down the line, and it's in a line drive right down the line. Running catch by Jolly. Field finds Henry, turns, shoots, hits it from the corner. The fading three.
Cougars, 15, 31 from the field, 48%. About 15 from beyond the three-point line, 33%. Team 11, and Jerry Strang, 72%. CMU, scoring the top minutes, Rafael Davis, 6. Isaiah Walker, 5. And James with 2. Eagles, 9 and 27 from the field, 33%. 10 from beyond the arc, 10% over 2. Field line.
64. Point advantage for the Cougars. Out shooting CMU 48% to 33, and the Eagles are just 1 of 10 from distance. Aaron Mosier, Dave Fox with you on the Hart Conference Network and the Urban Edge Network. Matt Sherman looking for a more inspired effort out of his group out of the break.
That's a great word, inspired, Kevin. You look at this first half. Columbia College played with a tremendous amount of confidence on both ends of the floor. The things I kind of look at from a stat standpoint, 8 players scored for Columbia College, only 4 for Central Methodist. I think Central's kind of looking for some confidence or looking for a player or two to help this team regain some confidence. And there's no question, they've dug themselves a deep hole, as you mentioned here at the first half. And it's early in the season. There's a lot of newness, but one of the things we know for a fact, it's a game. And the team that plays as hard as they do and works as well as they have, shares the basketball and puts the basketball in the hole is probably going to win. And so far, that's been Columbia College.
One guy that would help would be Tyson Ogeni, who is out with a hyperextended knee. He suffered in the preseason. I hope to have him back for the Mid-America Nazarene game, but he's a guy that can put the ball in the bucket. Junior college all-star last season, or 2 years ago rather. They'll hope to have him back next week, but as for tonight, they'll have to have somebody step up. James has a bat away, and the defensive effort is right there again for Columbia. Jamal Goins with the interception. Walker recollects. Johnny Anderson, another drive to the cup, and finishes through Kevin James.
And another drive using his left hand. We've seen that multiple times in the first half. Got to be able to adjust and realize that and take that left hand dribble away.
Williams inside of Prater, can't reverse it in. And while CMU has been ice cold on the offensive end, Columbia has been a buzzsaw. Anderson one-on-one with Prater, hesitates, stopped, and out to Goins. Baseline, muscles in against Prater, and Columbia picks up right where they left off.
Muscle's a great word, Aaron. You just dominated that drive. Strength, easy too.
Columbia continues to extend their largest lead of the night. James from the corner, can't get any help.
Just can't get anything to fall.
Walker, got it. 30-point lead. Prater bounces. Gay, ripped away by Jamal Goins. This is a well-oiled machine. Anderson moves it around, and now it's Walker in rhythm. Missed it. Jones can't save it.
You kind of look at both teams offensively. It's one team wearing blue tonight. Everything offensively is coming pretty easy. It's like that basketball is 3 times the size. Flip the switch, team in the white, Central Methodist on the other. Nothing's easy. Everything is difficult. It's almost like the basketball goal is half its size. Just got to play through it. Keep battling.
Corralled. Williams fouled. As you mentioned, it feels like Columbia can kind of score at will on the other end, but for CMU, it's like trying to cut through a titanium beam.
Yeah, it's a great point. Boy, Columbia College's closeouts are tremendous tonight. You see that. Central Methodist can't break the defense down. They cannot get an advantage getting to the basket. When they do, Columbia College has rotated. The personnel's been very active. They've had tremendous active hands tonight. A lot of deflections, turnovers. Just a really solid performance on the defensive end by Columbia College.
That was just the 4th free throw attempt for the Eagles, now 1 of 4 on the night. And that's one area where they have improved on to begin the year. Just 18 free throw attempts a game last year. They were up to 23. entering the night, but Columbia has been impenetrable. They have taken the energy right out of the building. A good crowd on hand, but it's pretty quiet in here. Walker fouled. And as soon as Columbia gives up free throws, they'll get a couple more themselves.
Again, Columbia does such a nice job. It's really caused problems for Central Methodist. You know, that drive was created by their ball movement. They got it from side to side, good action, found the seam, took advantage of it. Opportunity for 2 free throws.
This is nothing to take away from what Columbia was last year. They were a little bit stockier, similar in height, but you talk about the Parker brothers and Seth Larson. That's a stocky group inside. This year, outside of Johnny Anderson, it's a little leaner, a little quicker, a little faster, a little bit of a different identity. And in some ways here in the eye test, just in this game, the way they have dominated, I'm a bit more fearful of this team moving forward if I'm playing against them.
Oh, I don't disagree, and not to take anything away from last year's Columbia College team. Those kids were great players. This is a totally different buildup of a team, and most importantly, they're playing a different style. With the bigs last year, they played through the bigs. They're playing 5 wide, 5 open. They can all get downhill. It's a fun team to watch.
Williams can't break the slump from distance for CMU. Walker with full speed out to Saucelle. Off back iron, collected, and fired back to Saucelle. Inside, and Goins lost control. And even though that didn't end in a bucket, the pace of these passes are impossible to keep up with. Is a little bit of extracurricular after the play. But that is impossible for a defense to stop when the ball moves like that.
Yep.
Saucelle misses the shot, and within 2 to 3 seconds, it's immediately back in his hands.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great point for a team that hasn't, with new kids, haven't played together. Aaron, to be so cohesive and playing through each other together. Talked about 8 kids scored in the first half, so they're sharing the basketball. This day and age, in all levels of basketball, that's really tough to do, and it's been impressive tonight.
Good luck scoring on them as well. Caleb Jones rejects Kevin James. Giddy. Can't tap it in. Still loose. Williams fouled. 16:02 remaining in the ball game. You have to imagine for some teams in the AMC, they see Colin Parker, Carson Parker, Steinman, and Vickers walk across the graduation stage, and maybe a sigh of relief.
Yeah,
that
right.
may be coming back to bite them as they look down the schedule at what this team has started with this year.
Yeah.
2 Heart of America Conference wins potential if they close this one out. They've
Yeah.
got Mount Mercy next.
Yeah, to your point, and Central's certainly got a long way to go if they're going to come back in this basketball game, but a statement to your point has been made by this Columbia College basketball team.
Swing pass out to James, and final, the Eagles have something in their favor. James knocks it through. But still a ton of work to do. Walker, just a little finger roll in, unabated to the basket. Williams lost control right in the hands of Walker. Right down the tracks, Rieger had it bat away, recollects. Slings it back out to Walker. Crossover on James, slithers for a foul.
And again, you look at the formation. 5 out, all 5 players outside the 3-point line, forcing Central, because they can all shoot it, to make sure they're out there and guarding them. Nice little quick move drive. Really wide open lane. Probably a good foul that time by James. It would have probably been an easy 2.
The thing is, too, Columbia's missing their own contributors. We haven't seen Nate Brandt this year yet. He was the AMC Freshman of the Year, Fatima's all-time leading scorer. And they're also missing Trendon Tisdale, who has come back. He tore his Achilles over the summer. They hope to have him in the second semester. a guy that played 4 years under Thomas Brock and will play his 5th year this season. So there's still something in the tank for this group, and they've already come out with authority. Rieger rims out. Raphael Gay has the board. Williams dishes. James denied, but a foul on Saucelle.
It's one of the few times Central's gotten out in transition. Nice pass that time by Reams to James.
You know what this Columbia team reminds me of, just watching them, what Baker was last year.
Yeah, good point.
And it's amazing. This is the 4th game in for this group that's replacing their 6 leading scorers. I mean, it's just scary to think about where this team will be by the end of the year.
True, and it's also early. Things can go the other direction as well. You just never know. But yeah, couldn't agree with you more. This early in the season, with a new crop of players, I totally agree. Now for Central, still trying to find themselves, right? Trying to figure out who can do what, in what situations.
Rieger, off back iron, tapped around. CMU possession, 14:35 to play. We've got timeout with Columbia still in full control. 29-point advantage over the Eagles. They have held CMU to 24 points and 30% shooting from the field. Let's see what the Eagles can put together of this last portion of the contest. We'll step aside on the Hart Conference Network.
Welcome to the Heart of America Athletic Conference, where innovation meets tradition. Here, growth is not just measured in victories, but in the development of character and sportsmanship. Our student athletes compete at a championship level, pushing their limits every day. The Heart is committed to an uncommon student athlete experience that features some of the premier athletic programs in the NAIA. Our commitment to excellence goes beyond athletics, establishing a community of support and mentorship. But what truly sets us apart is the heart with which we play. Join us and experience the passion, the drive, and the spirit of champions. That passion and commitment extends off the playing field and into graduation. The Heart of America Athletic Conference, champions in competition, leaders in life.
.35 to play in this one. Columbia 53, CMU 24. I do not think the Cougars are playing their first road trip of the season. CMU, their home opener, and they have ran directly headlong into a buzzsaw. Let's see if they can capitalize on a smidge of momentum entering that last timeout. Williams inside to an open Gay, and it slips right through his grasp.
That's kind of what the night's been about right there. Good pass that time.
Boyer spins into Gay through the contact, loose ball, and Raphael Gay has it. Williams in transition, races the other way, can't scoop it in. Reams can't bat it home. Williams gets it back. Kitty from deep, and it rims out. Eagles 2 of 14 from distance tonight.
Yeah, one thing Coach Sherman and his staff, I guarantee you, are looking for, who's our go-to guy? Who's the guy that go get us a bucket when we need it most? And maybe even where does it come from? Is it a three? Is it downhill? Is it a post-up? Early in the season, certainly that's something that's being evaluated.
That was a rotating cast and crew last year. Off the turnover, charging foul on Isaiah Reams. You know, one night, Bull Tong would have an amazing performance. If he went quiet, you know, maybe Destin Jenkins or Brandon Chua had a big night, but that was a major concern last year, was who would come to play in the games where it was a little rough and tumble and your offense wasn't clicking and firing. And, you know, this is more of a veteran team this season, and we're just waiting to see who could be that guy.
And it's early. obviously this has been a very tough test.
Yes. Boyer, headlong. Can't get the hop. It's the board. Sticks with it. Doesn't pay off. Reams with the rebound. And now CMU wants to run. Raphael Gay off the bounce out to Williams. He can't break the seal. The frustration is wearing on the Eagles. Yeah, they're getting some decent looks. They're just not falling.
Well, it all started early in the game, right? A lot of missed buckets around the basket. And, you know, these are kids. It can get in your head. You know, you miss one, you miss an easy one. Sometimes it's hard to get that out of your head. But you just got to keep playing. You know, Aaron, you can't score if you don't shoot it, right? And, you know, sometimes there's discussions about good shot versus bad shot. But again, really talking about who's a player on this Eagle team that this squad could look at when they need a bucket to get one.
Tommy Williams picked up his 4th foul, and he's subbed out. Jones splits the pair.
Are you talking about a nice crowd here? Former Central Methodist All-American, all-time leading scorer Dan Widhelm and his brother Darryl are in the audience tonight.
Do they have any eligibility left? In this day and age, you never know. Just sue for your JUCO years, and suddenly you have extra seasons.
Well, knowing both those guys the way I do, the answer would be no. Now, if we can play old Iowa basketball, where it's 3-on-3 and you don't have to go half court, and you can play offense, then we can certainly talk about that a little bit. But that's a long time ago, Aaron Mosier.
Bonaparte Smith tried to tightrope the sideline, steps out. 12:20 to play. Coming for CMU, they host John Brown on Monday. It'll be a reverse. The men's will go first at 5 p.m. and then the women's will play Crowley's Ridge. And start of Hart Conference play, they host Mid-America Nazarene on the 15th. This is a part of a 4-game homestand for the Eagles. Denial by Raphael Gay. Bonaparte out to Smith. Hustle by Gay for the rebound, and Marcellus Phillips has it. The Hart preseason looked like this. Graceland, the team to finish number 1 in the AMC regular season champs, but they have already lost to Columbia.
Aaron, I think it would be so hard to do a preseason ranking in today's climate and age with just so many transfers. How do you know, right? I mean, I guess you can look at maybe where some of these players are coming from, I guess. Returning players. Talk about Graceland having an All-American back. But can't mean a whole lot.
Caleb Jones has certainly been an impactful transfer tonight for the Cougars, and a beautiful finish with a little jelly. 11:21 to play in the first half, or in this ball game. We'll step aside the Hart Conference Network. .21 to play from Puckett Fieldhouse, home opener for CMU. Aaron Mosier with the Eagles Hall of Famer Dave Fox. All Columbia right now by 32 points, 56-24. PJ Perkins on the floor for the first time. Puckett Fieldhouse. Freshman from Mexico, Missouri, Bonaparte, through traffic is fouled.
Nice job that time by Bonaparte. Kind of probing beyond the three-point line. Nice little crossover. Got the ball from his right to the left. Chance for 2 free throws.
Certainly an opportunity for these young guards to make an impact, especially when you have a guy like Marcus Anthony graduate, Hart first teamer, 15 points a game last year.
Yep.
He's kind of forced more into a point guard role, and Matt Sherman is looking for somebody like Reams, Bonaparte, Kylan Smith to manage a bit more of the ball handling duties this year.
Yep.
After the tie-up, it's Columbia basketball. Johnny Anderson to inbound.
You see some extended pressure, a little 1-2-2, three-quarter court press by the Eagles here.
I think you have to eye at this point. You're still trying to win the game, but even cutting the deficit to something like 15 would be a win.
Well, not only that, there's still a chance to learn a little bit about your basketball team. Who's still willing to play under these circumstances? You know, what can they do for you? It's early. Going to be tough to build off of this game, other than there's a lot to learn from, I think. But as a coach, you still want to be looking and checking your personnel and seeing who's going to compete.
Raphael Gay falling away, left it short. Jace SQ had that last three for Columbia from Bowling Green, Missouri, and Bowling Green High School, where he starred in football, basketball, and track. He was All-State Conference Player of the Year in football. His senior season, All-Conference, All-District in basketball.
Get in there. And
one for Raphael Gay. Shooting 57% from the stripe this year. Back to SU. He averaged 21 a game for Bowling Green, was all-conference, all-district, just a supreme athlete. And he's in a rotational role for this Columbia team. And he takes a seat with Gay at the stripe, a chance to convert an old-fashioned three-point play. Gay was highly efficient entering the night, 63.5% from the field. And he's been 4 of 8 tonight. That brings the Eagles total to 27. 59-27 ball game. The Cougars in front, and Raphael Gay will take a seat. So sell to Anderson. Jump stop and a feed. Missed by Goins. And off of Prater and out of bounds. That's happened a few times here for the Eagles. You get an initial stop on defense, but you don't finish the play well enough, and that ends up a second chance opportunity.
I've been really impressed with Anderson tonight for Columbia College. He's got great size, good body on him. Boy, he's had really good control, body control. Last possession, an excellent pass off a drive. He's been one of many, but he's been impressive tonight.
Foul on Perkins. So that brings Jamal Goins to the stripe. And timeout taken by Thomas Brock and Columbia. 9:46 to play. And we'll step aside on the Hart Conference Network.
Welcome to the Heart of America Athletic Conference, where innovation meets tradition. Here, growth is not just measured in victories, but in the development of character and sportsmanship. Our student athletes compete at a championship level, pushing their limits every day. The Heart is committed to an uncommon student athlete experience that features some of the premier athletic programs in the NAIA. Our commitment to excellence goes beyond athletics, establishing a community of support and mentorship. But what truly sets us apart is the heart with which we play. Join us and experience the passion, the drive, and the spirit of champions. That passion and commitment extends off the playing field and into graduation. The Heart of America Athletic Conference, champions in competition, leaders in life.
32-point lead for Columbia on the road at Central Methodist in Puckett Fieldhouse. 9:46 to play, and Jamal Goins at the line for the Cougars. Will play at Mount Mercy this weekend and then return home to play Missouri Baptist. No longer a conference game between them and the Spartans. First year for Mo Bap and William Woods to be in the Heart. And it's another Heart Conference foe at Park versus Baker versus Benedictine before their first conference game of the year against Williams Baptist. So obviously Thomas Brock wanted to try to improve his strength of schedule. He did that by scheduling the Heart.
Question, Aaron, you may not know the answer. With Mo Bap and William Woods coming into the Heart, do you know if the AMC replaced those two teams in their conference? Or okay,
they did not. It's going to be between Columbia and Central Baptist in all likelihood.
Gotcha.
Which unfortunately for William Woods, they were pretty much gutted. Their whole roster. Jordan Ashton moving on.
And their coach, right?
Yep, he's moved on to the Division II level. Good hustle by Perkins.
As a matter of fact, I think Coach Green, one of Thomas Brock's assistant now, Andrew Green is the head coach of William Woods. Good for him. Wish him nothing but the best of luck.
It's been a tough start to the year, but yes, definitely would like to see the Owls stay competitive. Perkins in rhythm, line drive short. Goins has the rebound. Now back to that, the Hart preseason rankings. Peru State picked to finish second, Mid-Am third, CMU fourth, Grandview fifth, Baker sixth, and Benedictine seventh. As you mentioned, more difficult than ever to try to prognosticate preseason. Nice rip away by Kylan Smith, the junior from Normal, Illinois, from John Wood Community College. Giddy left it short.
You know, just another quick observation about this game. When you're struggling offensively, sometimes you want to create something, get things in transition. Central has not done that at all tonight. Give credit to Columbia College for getting back, but also, well, you got to earn those opportunities defensively. You know, getting stops, turnovers, trying to create the numbers game, and that just has not been seen at all tonight by the Eagles.
Rieger can't connect, and they give possession to Columbia. Reset the shot clock with 8:15 to play. James, Reams, and Kylan Smith returned for the Eagles. Smith playing with 4 fouls. A little lack of communication. Saucelle can't pay it off. Zipped pass inside. James can't connect. The brutal night for the Eagles offense continues apace. A lot to work on, and a lot to consider before they host John Brown on Monday. Johnny Anderson recorrals, and then it's wildly off the mark. Tapped away into the hands of James. Full head of steam, can't reverse it in, denied by Saucelle. And it continues to be impossible to score on this Columbia defense, and Max Rieger pays it off on the other end. Averaging almost 13 a game entering the night. Isaiah Reams the other way, no whistle, as Rieger got his paws in there. Isaiah Reams averaging 18 points a game, 34 minutes a game entering the night. He was averaging almost 8 free throw attempts a game, and he has not had a trip yet. Transfer from Truman State. Anderson loses his footing. Reams the other way, elevates and finishes. He was an All-American at North Central Missouri, 18.5 points per game his last year there. And the All-State, All-Conference member of Mexico High School, where he had 1,500 career points and was a 2-time district champ. And with this timeout on the floor, we'll keep it with you. 6:53 to play in this one. Let's give you a quick score update from around the NAIA. Bethel defeats Heston 92-81. Those are two teams that CMU will play in the non-conference this year. As we mentioned, Bethel defeated the Eagles 76-71 in Kansas. They finished third in the KCAC last year, the Threshers, and they made the national tournament, and they look well on their pace to a similar year this season. Eagles play Heston on December 16th. Southwestern dominates Benedictine 73-49. William Penn dominates Hannibal LaGrange 93-65 in Oskaloosa. Evangel leads the College of the Ozarks 54-35. Peru State leads Kansas Wesleyan 50-28 at the half. Saucelle baseline, stopped, fires it back out to Rieger. Up fake behind the back into the lane, another fake. He draws the foul. And that's just a exhibition on the use of the fake and using leverage against your defender.
Rieger is such a playmaker. He had a couple threes. Got to respect his shot. Has the ability to get downhill with either hand, and I like what you just said. He didn't force the issue. He gathered, got himself under control, and at a minimum, got to the free throw line. He got fouled. Just a really good hezzy play by a freshman.
Tellis Truesdale was his high school head coach, and I'm not sure if it was him or his trainer he's worked with or his dad or I don't know who, but he is a well-coached ball player.
Oh, he's been a great player for, as you mentioned, several years at Summit Christian in the Lee Summit area.
Foul on Saucelle. Tommy Williams to the stripe. Originally from East St. Louis. Redshirted a year at Lindenwood, then played 60 games and made 6 starts. Played a minor role in St. Charles. Played at Belleville West High School where he was all-state, 2-time all-conference, averaged 15 points a game. And last year was a starter for Arkansas Fort Smith. Played 27 minutes a game, made 25 starts, averaged 8 points a contest. And struggles continue for CMU at the line, but Williams sticks with it, unable to pay it off at the end.
You don't see that very often, Aaron. Free throw shooter gets his own rebound.
This CMU team is competing. They're still hustling. It's just, it's been a tough night, to say the least. Eskew. 4 on the timer. Rieger off back iron. Leaping rebound by Jones. Hands it off to the cutting Rieger. He corrals it. Inside against James. No whistle, and he still converts. He is just a ball of energy, too. Just Energizer Bunny out there. Williams the other way. 5:23 to play. Marcellus Phillips tied up midair. Johnny Anderson returns.
Got caught in no man's land. Coach Brock, I didn't mean to.
Thomas Brock, 81-40 record entering the year at CC, was the 2023 AMC Coach of the Year. Had to fill the shoes of Bob Burchard. That's a tall order, and thus far it's been pretty good. 6 straight winning seasons for Brock and the Cougars, with a regular season conference title and tournament title in that span. 4 straight seasons of winning 20 or more games. Whipped away by Prater. Ricochets back to him. Reams in transition and one.
Good hustle that time. Good deflection. James on the floor after that loose ball. Good hustle.
timeout taken by Thomas Brock. Get some subs in. And will we keep it on the floor? No. So we'll step aside. 4:24 to play in this one. Columbia on.
He's to the 45, cuts across midfield, up the right sideline, stumbles, breaks the tackle. He's to the 20, to the 10. He is taking it into the end zone for a touchdown. Still caught down the line, and it's in a line drive right down the line. Running catch by Jolly. Field finds Henry, turns, shoots, hits it from the corner. The fading three.
God, look at that shooting percentage.
4:24 to play in this one. Columbia on top, 66 to 38, and a strikingly similar performance to their top 25 defeat of Graceland last week, holding Graceland at 29% from the field. CMU at just 31%. This is a Columbia team that last year kind of held their mark with their offensive efficiency, seventh in the country in offensive efficiency, second in assist a game. Did not foul opponents, shot the three ball well. Top 15 three-point shooting team last year, and their 86 points a game were top 15 as well. We've seen good things from this Columbia offense, but I think what stands out continually is their defensive efforts.
Yeah, you go back and you kind of look at how this game started. If you remember, 13:46, we had a timeout. The score was 8-4 at Columbia College. From that mark, 13:46 to halftime, Columbia College outscored Central 35-15.
Reams knocks it down. Eagles now 3 of 20 from distance. And that's not a mark that's going to hold for this season. This is too good of a three-point shooting team. However, this three-game stretch has been a struggle. And that was kind of the deciding mark in a lot of games last year. If the shots were falling, it was a bright start for the Eagles, and they kind of carried that sometimes to wins. And then if they weren't falling, it was tough sledding to say the least.
Well, and we talked to Matt Sherman, too. He really wants this team to buy in defensively. If you can do that, sometimes those shooting woes aren't that big of a deal if you can get stops. And we talk about this Columbia College team that has so many weapons from so many different places. They've been just extremely impressive tonight.
Yeah, I'll read verbatim what he told us in the preseason. We wanted to get back to the upper 80s and 90s and not upper 70s, low 80s. This team has the potential defensively to be better than what we've been last year. We just weren't tough enough, and this team, there's some guys on this team that they're tougher, and I think they're more competitive. I think that's going to take us farther. And really the hope is that just a night like this is an aberration, and what proves to be the case is Columbia is a buzzsaw the rest of their schedule. And
well, if you're
a national tournament team.
Well, all the above, but I'll give you as a former coach, it's also a good way to get some people's attention, you know. We're not where we want to be today. What can we do in practice in our next games and all those things included to get to where we want to be? And the best thing about it, Aaron, it's early enough in the year. All those goals are still in place. All that can still happen. But there's work to be done.
Zip pass to James in the corner. Too strong. Prater hustles. It's off of Columbia and out of bounds. And there's a reason why you schedule tough non-conference.
Absolutely.
Variety of them, but it's also a measuring stick to where you want to be.
Yep.
And I think the Eagles defensively and the way that Columbia played synergistically on both sides of the floor is certainly a level that the Eagles want to be at, especially by the time they start conference play.
And if you're a player, they're going to be frustrated. That locker room's not going to be happy. You got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're right back at Monday. So, you know, there's, back into the lab for a couple days, and guess what? Back on the hardwood Monday to hopefully take care of some of these things.
Noah Faucinet Out of the game for the first time for the Eagles. Another Frenchman. Rieger hangs. Battle for the board. Perkins wins it. Out to Gay. Full head of steam. Hands it off. And Smith swoops in. (68-44). So 24-point deficit for the Eagles. Marcellus Phillips against the smaller Bonaparte. Turns. Batted. Eskew fires it down the baseline, out of bounds. 3 on the shot clock for the Cougars as they get Langston Stroop and Bear Bach into the game.
Kind of nice. Langston Stroop, former Columbia Hickman Cupid, great high school player. On the court being guarded by Mr. Bonaparte, also a Columbia Hickman Cupid.
A little slam there for Phillips to be a cherry on top of this extremely impressive performance for the Cougars in their first road contest of the year, and they snap a 2-game losing streak to CMU. And their first win in Fayette since 2019. 3 ball for Perkins falls. Seconds remain. We'll see if we get Matt Sherman up here for a post-game interview. He'll have a lot to say with his team. Into this one, Stroop bounces. Eskew on the reverse.
What a beautiful pass that time by Stroop.
Hasn't played a minute of this entire game. Subs in and immediately distributes the ball like he's been in there the whole time. Bonaparte out to Fossinette. And he drains it.
Good looking stroke.
A few milliseconds of difference between the shot clock and game clock, so Columbia will hold this one out for a 72-50 final from Puckett Fieldhouse. Columbia shoots 44% from the field, holds CMU to 34.5%. 30% from deep for the Cougars was enough compared to CMU 5 of 24. They were 16 of 21 at the foul line. CMU just 5 of 12. They out-rebounded the Eagles 41-34. So that does it. CMU will host John Brown on Monday, and Columbia will continue their Hart Conference gauntlet in the non-con for them with a trip up north to Iowa to face Mount Mercy. Dave Fox, any final thoughts?
Tough one. Very impressive performance by Columbia College. Central Methodist did not shoot the ball very well. When you don't shoot the ball very well, especially early in the game, and the other team continues to play the way they played, you dig yourself a hole. Sometimes you can't dig yourself out of that hole, and I think that happened tonight. A lot you can learn from this game. It's still early, new pieces, a lot of work to do. Hey, I'll see you on Monday night against John Brown.
Sounds good. That's the Eagles Hall of Famer, Dave Fox, with our final again. Columbia 72, CMU 50. We'll see if we get head coach Matt Sherman up here for a post-game interview. Yes, Coach Sherman will be heading up here, so stick with us for some thoughts post-game. Give you some more score updates. Peru State and Kansas Wesleyan ongoing in the second half. Bobcats on top 69-44. And William Penn defeats Hannibal LaGrange 93-65. Southwestern over Benedictine 73-49. And we've got the head coach Matt Sherman up here with us post-game. Coach, not the final score you certainly wanted. Columbia came in and they played with a ton of team chemistry, and they played, I'm sure, with a defensive effort you would like to see from your team throughout the rest of this year.
Yeah, I mean, their defense was good. I didn't think our defense was bad from a scheme standpoint. I mean, we executed what we wanted to, going under their screens and stuff. I mean, they shot 6 of 20 from the 3, so it's not like they came out here and just shot lights out. I mean, you only give up 72 points on your own court. You should be more successful than that. But what they did is they just got us out of everything we wanted to do offensively. I think it showed, obviously, we're not a great outside shooting team right now, but you know, we have guys not getting in the right spots offensively, and that was kind of our problem this past weekend too. It just didn't show up quite as bad. But you know, it only has 13 turnovers, but it sure felt like a lot more. But you know, I just don't know if we really came out ready to play and respected our opponents tonight.
And you were able to get some effort from Tommy Williams to not shoot the way he wanted to, but he was certainly running around making an impact. And Raphael Gay competed until the very end and showed some toughness. So, you know, that's what you wanted to see out of your guys this year, a tougher team. And they certainly did not give up in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, definitely Tommy played hard all the way till the end. You know, I'm really disappointed in our forwards tonight. I don't think we got anything from the forward spot. You know, I mean, we got the ball inside a lot, but then even, you know, some of our shots from outside, I mean, those were mostly open shots, and we're rushing them, or we're not in the right spot, and we're not knocking them down. But, you know, when we were getting it inside, we weren't taking it up strong. You know, we only shot 2 free throws in the first half, and then look at our free throw percentage. We're 5 of 12, so even when we are getting there, we're not knocking them down. But you're not going to win many games shooting 5 of 12 from the free throw line, 5 of 24 from the 3. And, you know, 2 of those threes came there right there at the end, or even 3 if you count the one from Reams with about 3 minutes left to go. So, you know, we weren't aggressive enough looking for the right kind of shots. And, you know, Columbia took advantage of that. We were too one-dimensional tonight.
And now, you know, moving on, you know, this 4-game homestand continues. What can we expect to see out of John Brown on Monday?
Well, without looking too much at them, but they're big. John Brown's really big. So if we're just going to try to go into the basket, you know, with half effort and just throw stuff up and not go in strong, you know, it's going to be a lot of the same thing. So we're going to have better spacing. I mean, you know, we didn't run plays right tonight. We didn't run our motion ball screen stuff right tonight. I mean, so just a lot of things that were just disengaging from a coach's standpoint. So where, you know, if you lose a game, you wish you would have given them your best effort, and if Columbia giving us their best, or when we give them our best, then so be it. But you know, that's not the case tonight. And, you know, I don't even know if we saw Columbia's best. I think they guarded their tails off, but all they really had to do was pack it in tonight and dare us to shoot. And you know, we didn't take it strong to the basket, and we didn't shoot well from outside.
Yeah, well, both of you will have guys you'll be bringing back from injury as well, hopefully soon. So, yeah, neither side even complete at this point. But, Coach, thank you again for your time, and looking forward to seeing you guys the rest of this homestand.
Yep, thanks, Aaron.
And that's head coach Matt Sherman. Final score tonight on the Hart Conference Network, Columbia 72, CMU 50. For the Hall of Famer, Eagles Hall of Famer Dave Fox, I'm Aaron Mosier. Thank you again for joining us on the Urban Edge Network, and we'll see you on Monday against John Brown.